So this is from townandcountrymag.com, and it's been popping up. This same story, not the same article, but the same story has been popping up a lot lately. I think we even touched on it before, but I'm just going to touch on it again. It's the headline is "This Year's College Admissions Horror Show." Watch if you dare as the merely rich and only sort of powerful attempt to secure Ivy League admission spots without the old bag of tricks. Ooh.
Old bag of tricks? What? There was a bag of tricks? Nobody told me about the bag of tricks to get into college. You weren't in the right group of people. just had to swim a lot. That got me into college.
Well, that's actually a part of the story too. The athletes, athletism.
Is it an elite group of?
You are.
Oh, well, okay.
Athletes are an elite group of individuals who are still able to gain entry into college. Whereas if you're not an athlete, you're just out of luck, basically.
Right. By the way, I was kicked off the swim team at one point and lost my full scholarship to college. So that.
Well, you're a podcaster now, so I probably could have guessed, Gonz.
All right. Go on.
In February, when asked to describe how college admissions was going so far this year, one affluent white parent in Los Angeles sent me a text with 3 emoji faces. One was sad, one was blue-faced and shivering, and one looked ready to barf.
Oh, that's story time.
Speaking later over the phone, this person chose the word bleak to describe how the early action/decision results that were announced in December, regular admission results come out in late March and early April, had gone over at the exclusive independent school where their child, a top student and leader with reams of extracurriculars, reams had been deferred from an Ivy League school despite a legacy connection. Classmates who'd also applied for early decision to the school were flat out rejected. Quote, a dumpster fire was now Jen Kfish, the founder of was how Jen Kfish, the founder of Great Expectations College Prep, whose clients hail from Tony, Los Angeles neighborhoods like Beverly Hills, Bel Air, and Brentwood, called early admission results. Quote, certain private schools that used to have incredible admissions results have just been obliterated, and parents are furious, Kfish says. And it goes on for quite a long time, explaining kind of the problem. Over the pandemic, college admissions has changed a lot. The ACT testing and SAT testing is really just optional now. You don't even really need to take those tests to apply for college. Let me just read this. The college admissions process and the albeit unscientific sense of who gets in and why has been completely upended in a matter of months, thanks to a global pandemic. The now optional nature of the ACT and SAT, which
optional. You know how much time went into. I took entire classes.
Oh, I know.
Courses for the SATs.
And money.
Money.
Time, tutoring,
money.
And that's part of the case that's being built here. So ACT and SAT are now optional, which has sent college applications numbers soaring, and a post-Black Lives Matter social climate that has caused colleges and universities to put greater energy into admitting Black and brown students. Now, weird thing, I don't know what it means, just pointing it out. When they say Black and brown students, Black is capitalized, brown is not capitalized.
Yeah, what's up with that? That's interesting.
So it's like black as a proper noun and brown is not a proper noun. I don't know what that means. I need to look more into it. It's just weird. As well as kids who are the first in their families to attend college. COVID in particular tightened the screws for applicants this year. Portions of the freshman classes were eaten up by kids who deferred their enrollment in 2021, not wanting to pay $60,000 for a Zoom education, and in-person opportunities to round out an application, such as interviews, became obsolete. Wow. With fewer ways for kids to present themselves. Remember, no more SATs. More emphasis has been put on GPAs and high school coursework, causing widespread agita. Are 9 APs enough? And it goes on and on and on about how much this has changed and how, the upper middle class who are wealthy but are not necessarily powerful are having just the darndest time getting their kids into Ivy League schools.
Well, the pipeline has been disrupted. It seems like the whole the supply chain of where the people come from to attend these universities is completely changed.
And with lower standards, lowered academic standards, there's more sort of emphasis on having a diverse incoming class and things like that, which is not bad. Diversity is good in general. But listen to this part of the article here, this paragraph. To try to fit themselves into this new world order. Affluent families. Now, when we see that new world order, at the very least, we know that this is probably on purpose, that this is not an accident. Affluent families are rethinking their admissions strategies. Gone are the letters of recommendations from family and friends / CEO or celebrity. As another Los Angeles parent told me, quote, a letter from a fancy person is not going to work anymore. Big files are negatives. Remember that, Gonz? In our day, we had to have all the extracurriculars. We had to have the clubs. We had to have the charity work. We had to have this, that. Well, you were an athlete, so maybe
I had my one big golden ticket, which was the swim. So
yep. Yeah. And they actually do mention that in here. I did skip the part, but they do mention that. They're like, none of this actually matters for athletes. Athletes still get in great. Another said that a college counselor at the private school that her child attends advised students to get a job.
Get a job.
This would be working at a coffee shop or restaurant to understand the value of low-wage labor. Or volunteering as an EMT, a gig that requires arduous or emotionally draining work. Either way, the sense was, this is a quote, the sense was, don't go on one of the poverty tours in Peru, get a job. Stop doing all the stuff that rich kids do.
Wait a minute. So this implies that having a low-wage job here in the United States is equivalent or better in terms of character building.
Right.
Than going on a poverty tour of Peru. I can kind of see that.
Well,
okay.
And this is the thing. Now, here's the thing. Don't get me wrong. I was not an upper middle class kid. I'm not like rooting for the old system.
Right.
But we're building a case, and I'll show you exactly what's about to happen here. But yeah, look, if having a job as a kid could get me into college, boy, oh boy, could I have gotten into an Ivy League college, which I did not go to, and part of me is just jealous now that I would have been a perfect candidate for Harvard if I could do it this way. Now, says Kaifesh, that's this college admissions woman, quote, the narrative has to be about using your privilege to make the world a more equitable and better place. I had one student who was interested in going pre-med. She goes on, quote, I said, don't just volunteer at a hospital. That's great. But that's not enough these days. If you go volunteer at a clinic and you're trying to practice your Spanish in the inner city or working with underserved communities in the inner city, that's different. And it goes on and on just like this. And the long story short is ESG that has taken over that is the basis of the Great Reset economic world model.
Yeah, the new standard, the new measuring stick.
Right, which is
environment.
Environment, social, and governance. No.
Yeah, that's right. Environmental, social, and governance.
Is it governance? I thought it was. Okay. So the point being, ESG, this new system that corporations are being sort of forced into, where if their company is not working for the good of the earth, for the good of equity, and for the governance of the world, then you're getting kicked out. You're getting blocked out of the global economy.
Right.
And this is basically ESG for students. Mm-hmm. You have to ESG your way into college. And this is doing a couple different things. This is blocking out basically spoiled rich kids, which I mean, none of us are really going to complain about. But it's opening.
I think it's going to force that population to build something different,
something else. Yeah. They got to find a new way.
Yeah.
But it's now going to be focusing the Ivy League education admissions to people who are in line with ESG, meaning in line with the Great Reset, in line with the World Economic Forum, in line with this new system being built. And as we know, what comes out of the elite colleges is what goes into the elite ruling structure. So this is set up. This is not just
a recruitment program.
Exactly. This is not just about ESG in corporations. It's not just about resetting global economics. This is about resetting who gets put into the pipeline. And it's ideological. You have to be ideologically aligned to even be allowed into the elite colleges. No longer, again, back to the theme of the destruction of capitalism. And I don't mean that in sort of the lame sort of stereotypical way. I mean, capital as a ruling force is being sort of dismantled all the way down to the college admissions level.
That's probably the biggest sort of shovel they have in terms of reaching into different communities to get people on board with their system. Yeah. And why not? I mean, this is in line with the whole concept of the left, where they talk about the unfairness of the poorer communities and the color, people of color. I mean, whatever excuse they put on it, this taps into that, answers it and kind of doing something about it. So you're going to get all those woke people in line there. But how does this help Joe Biden, Basil? Does this help Joe Biden?
Right. And this is the connection. This is so there you go. You've got the ESG standards being placed on the ideological requirements to get into elite schools. Now we're going to jump over to MSN.com, mirrored from the Boston Globe, why Joe Biden hasn't canceled student debt yet and why he won't go big if he does. Now, this is just sort of a context article here that will connect the whole theory. Under pressure from the U.S. Senator Elizabeth Warren and many on the progressive left, President Joe Biden is reportedly considering some form of student loan relief. On the campaign trail, Biden vowed that he would sign legislation that would eliminate $10,000 worth of federal student loan debt if it reached his desk. But with Biden's entire domestic agenda stalled in Congress, the pressure is on for Biden to just wipe out this debt with the stroke of a pen. The problem is it's unclear whether he has the legal ability to do that through the executive order. Whoops. His advisors
are change laws first before.
Yeah, exactly. We gotta change the laws before he can do anything. His advisors are split on the question. So too are the leading Democrats. For example, Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer believes it can be done and has urged Biden to eliminate up to $50,000 in federal student loan debt per borrower. That's like an entire college career for some people. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi, however, says that Biden doesn't have the authority. Pelosi, why are you holding them back? Not only that, she appears to be opposed to it.
Oh, no.
Which is unsurprising.
She built those pipelines.
Insider trading.
Built those pipelines.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Quote, suppose your child just decided they, at this time, do not want to go to college, but you're paying taxes to forgive somebody else's obligations. Pelosi said last summer to reporters, you may not be happy about that. Oh, Pelosi is sounding like a regular Republican.
The world has flipped. CERN is definitely turned on for sure.
That's what I'm saying, man. That's what I'm saying.
Nancy making sense. What is this? What does this world come to?
Yeah.
It's all coming to an end.
I really don't need to read any more of this article, but the connection is this. So you have Biden working hard to figure out a way to cut student loan debt. And you mix that with the ESG requirements on getting into elite education, and you basically have the Biden administration subsidizing the new ESG Great Reset education system, which would work very well for him and work very well for Klaus Schwab, one of his apparent best buddies. And it's just shaping up to be a very effective long-term piece of the puzzle, part of the plan for the Great Reset shift going on now, and certainly going on, we know at least until 2030 from previous plans laid out.
Yeah, they never reached their goals, though, so we'll see.
Yeah, well, we'll move it on.
So
there you go. It's kind of you kind of got to, again, pull back, look at the whole thing from a higher level. But when you do that, you can see all the pieces moving together for this new movement that's going on now to be a sustained new world order, not just a phase, not just a swing of the pendulum, as we see so many of these types of movements over the past few decades. It's really, they've got the whole thing planned out, and I think